And we are back. Pokemon Diamond Hardcore Nuzlocke. The run continues here. We have made it to the Elite Four. All battles prior have been taken care of, and it climaxed with that fight against Barry, losing our starter Empoleon. Our final team is looking a little something like this with the Lucario, Luxray, Machamp, Crobat, Pelipper or Pelipepper, and the shiny Gengar. While training up Pokemon, I ran into a shiny Ghastly. We already had one nicknamed V2, but for the shiny claws, I overrode the other one and chose this one to use. And I'm like, we might as well. Let's use the shiny. So that is what I replaced our starter Empoleon with, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've actually never used Gengar in a Nuzlocke before, kind of like Alakazam. It's just really hard to get unless you have those trade evolutions on. But as far as everyone we left on the table, here's a quick cursory overview. Raichu was definitely somebody I was considering. Lopunny is insanely strong. Skuntank, love the typing there. Rapidash is one of the Pokemon that clutched my Pokemon Platinum Hardcore Nuzlocke way back in the day. So Medicham I wanted to use, but the whole heart scales is kind of whack in this game. It's not like Platinum where there's a bunch of heart scales available, so you can get the Ice Punch, Fire Punch, and Thunder Punch. So I think I only had one or two heart scales, and I ended up using them before I got the Medicham. And so he ended up just having like the fighting psychic type moves, which is still really good, but I think Machamp was actually a better fit because of the lack of moveset. So Golem's really good except for the 4x weaknesses. And yeah, that about does it for the Pokemon alive that were left. And then the Pokemon we lost along the way, Floatzel to a revenge critical hit from a Machoke. Very unfortunate. Pachirisu was a sacrificial slaughter to the 7th gym. Roserade, very unfortunate. We actually lost Roserade in Victory Road to somebody's Empoleon, which is just brutal. Got locked into the pedal dance and couldn't pull up in time. And then Empoleon got sniped by a critical hit, Fire Blast in the sun. That is just brutal. The steel typing betraying the penguin right there, because if it was just water, it would have been not very effective. But either way, water steel, very cool, unique, fun typing there. With all of that precap out of the way, let's dive right in. Make sure battle animations are on, and we are good to go. One final save. Let's do this thing. So I'm actually going to run the Lucario. In the front here, I don't have any fire type moves. I do have 2 flying type Pokemon, but I'm trying to watch the levels here. We can't go over 66, and I don't think Lucario is going to be used much in the next 2 fights, if I'm not mistaken, so I want to go ahead and get Lucario in there right now. I could use Crobat, but I think Crobat might come in handy elsewhere. But either way, I don't think it really matters for this one, since the level discrepancy, even though we capped and we're not over leveling, it's still going to mean Aaron is way under leveled for this fight. But each Elite Four member is going to be closer and closer to our levels until we are actually over leveled by Cynthia's team for sure. So that's really cool there. But yeah, we're just going to dive right in. Odysseus, the Lucario, has been an absolute staple in this run, and I gave him the Mind Plate, so psychic type moves are going to be hitting even harder than they normally do. So if it's super effective, I think any of Aaron's Pokemon are just going to fall right here, which is really nice. And again, just flexing the Lucario, just letting them know who's boss right out the gate. Heracross is going to be the biggest issue, but we're 9 levels ahead. This is going to be super effective, riding so much damage with that special attack. Lucario has the timid nature, I believe, so buffing that special attack minus the physical attack, which is pretty good on Lucario if you go for the special attack moveset. Now, if you want to go for the Swords Dance physical attack, you do not want that nature, and I really would have loved the physical Lucario so we could potentially get some sweeps, but having a Mage Lucario is pretty fun, and the Drapion comes down, has the Dark typing, so we're not going to be able to utilize the Psychic, so we can go for neutral Aurasphere, neutral Steel Cannon. I don't think it really matters. I think Aurasphere does a tiny bit more damage, so let's just go ahead and go for that. And this Drapion does not have Earthquake, which Drapion usually does. Cross Poison can't even affect because of the steel typing. X Scissors not very effective 4 times. Aerial Ace is neutral but a very weak move. And then Ice Fang is not very effective. So the only thing that Drapion can do is Aerial Ace, and it's just not going to do a whole bunch. He's going to need a lot of crits. So we're just going to speed that up as this Drapion is completely walled off by our Lucario. You love to see it. And Drapion goes. Beautiful stuff. The ace falls. And what does that leave? 2 more Pokemon here. Beautifly comes down. No big issues here. And I was getting so excited, I just misclicked Aurasphere, so that wasn't great. Getting a little bit too crazy here. I meant to click Psychic, but we're just fine. Bug Buzz comes down. I do believe that's 4 times not very effective as well, so no problem there, and just kind of rebounding from the misclick, you're going to get that Psychic going. And yeah, I think this fight is essentially over. We got 1 more Pokemon coming in hot here. It is going to be the Vespiquen, the Queen Bee herself. And yeah, I think we're fine. I think we just go for the Psychic. This is a Bug Flying type. And that is it. That is all she wrote for this fight. Unless Vespiquen gets some crits. But look at that. No damage whatsoever. And yeah. Actually, I think Steel Order. I think the Steel type would have been more damage because of the stab. Now that I'm thinking about it, I just got so used to one-shotting the Poison Dustox with the Psychic that I think Flash Cannon might have been just the way to go for most of these fights. But again, the level discrepancy and with how strong Lucario is, I don't think it really matters. But we definitely want to watch out for the next fight against Bertha and her ground types, because it's going to be a lot closer, and any smaller mistakes can definitely get punished. But there you go. There goes Aaron, and I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but let's go ahead and head over to Bertha and see what she is up to. I'll see you there. All right, on to the second member, Bertha, with her ground type Pokemon here. And we do not have a perfect answer. We lost the Roserade pretty recently, and that would have been a perfect counter against all 5 of our Pokemon. But let's see here. So I think we're going to go with Cornelia, our shiny Gengar, and just rain down the Stab Shadow Balls. I think that's our best play since we don't have any grass type moves. I think Machamp could be a really good pivot if we need, but this is where the ground weaknesses really come into play, as Luxray, Lucario, and Gengar is actually weak to ground but has Levitate. So we really only have those 2 ground weaknesses, which is good. So we need to watch out for that. But the Levitate's going to be huge here potentially. So let's see how good Gengar can do. And then if we get into a tough biome, let's see if we can swap around. I am definitely a little bit nervous of the Hippowdon, the big hippo here. It's the highest level, and its moveset is actually really good with Earthquake, Stone Edge, Crunch, and Curse. The only thing its weakness is it's so slow, but honestly, if you can't kill it in one shot, which you probably can't, it's going to let you know who's boss. And if it uses Curse and then heals, that's the whole thing. So we are really leaning into the Gengar, and hopefully she can outspeed everything and just annihilate everything in its path. So let's go ahead and get these Stab Shadow Balls underway here. Quagsire uses Protect, blocks the Shadow Ball, no problem. And now we're going to get the first one underway here. Let's see how much damage it does. Going to give the health bars a little bit of a speed boost here. It goes for the double team cheese, and if we can land this Shadow Ball, oh my goodness, it's going to be beautiful. If not, Quagsire might be able to set up a Sandstorm for the rest of its team, which we do not want, as it's going to give Bertha's team a special defense boost, and the Shadow Ball does miss, but we do land the next one, which is really nice. The Quagsire is going to fall, and the double team Protect Cheese completely fails Bertha, which is what we want to see, but it doesn't waste any time and goes right for the Hippowdon, gets the Sandstream out there, and is going to start chipping away. And it's going to go for Crunch, actually, which it might go for Stone Edge. The question is, do we set up a Confuse Ray, potentially making switches a little bit safer, or do we just rain down the Shadow Ball, which is going to do massive damage and is probably going to 2-shot? And if it just does Crunch or even Curse, we might have wanted to go on the offensive. I think, and I have a berry that reduces the Dark type move if it's super effective. I only had 1 berry like that, and I gave it to the Gengar. So I'm actually going to go on the offensive, use Gengar to its maximum potential here, and we just need this to get into the orange for the Hippo. And Oh, that's close. Can we get the special defense drop? We cannot. And it goes for Curse. And I'm wondering if the Sandstream is what buffed Hippowdon special defense to that point to where one Shadow Ball wasn't enough. So we're going to take a little bit of chip there. And this is going to be tough because if this doesn't kill, that is like right on the line. So if that was a low roll, we're fine. But if that was the high roll, we are in trouble. And that means the Hippowdon is going to get a heal on top of that Curse. And you're kidding me. It goes to 1 HP. Gets the citrus for the reprieve. We do get the special defense drop, but the Curse comes down, so it is +2 attack, -2 speed, which it does not care about. And it's also +2 defense as well. Thankfully, we have the special attack in our favor. But if that is outside of heal range, both of those curses were for naught. And Cornelia clutches so hard, it's not even funny. And the Hippo falls. The Hippo was definitely the biggest concern coming into this fight as we speed up and get to the next Pokemon here. And I do believe we're fine. We're going to chuck some more Shadow Balls over to Bertha's side here. And that does half health. Beautiful stuff. Aqua Tail does connect. Is going to do a good chunk of damage. No critical. That is what I'm talking about. And now we are in range. We are absolutely in range. And what would be the odds that the Shadow Ball doesn't kill and then the Whiscash responds and kills us? Because it also does have access to Zen Headbutt, which is super effective and could kill us. So maybe we don't mess with that. And honestly, I was talking about not sending out Lucario, but the next two Pokemon on the menu are both Rock, and they do have Earthquake, but I think Lucario just one-shots both of them with Aura Sphere. And the Whiscash does not have a ground type move other than Fissure, and Fissure doesn't work if you're higher level. That's the one shot KO move, like Sheer Cold and Horn Drill and stuff like that. So it's not in a position to use Fissure, which is really nice. So we just need to eat this Aqua Tail, and then we are fine. I think that means 3 Aura Spheres, and we walk away a winner here. I'm really hoping. So that really should finish the Derpy Fish from that range. Beautiful stuff. So step 1 down, and step 2 coming in hot here. It is going to be the Golem. And if this Aura Sphere does not kill Golem, we are we are so in trouble. But I'm very confident that Odysseus can get the job done. Golem's special defense is not great. Our special attack is through the roof, and Golem does not have the official Sturdy, if you will, because this is only Gen 4. Now, if this was Gen 5, Sturdy would have kept Golem alive at 1 HP, as we've talked about before, but Sturdy failing Golem there, as in this generation, it only lets Golem survive one-hit KO moves, which is just so specific. So I'm glad they changed that in the future. And now Sudowoodo is the last bastion of hope for Bertha and her team. Odysseus drops back with an Aura Sphere, and it connects. And I don't think the tree is going to live that. It does at 1 HP. Oh my god, Sudowoodo. Oh my god. Please don't. Please, Lucario, buckle. This is not stab, but it is super effective, and we're already hurting. I think Lucario's defense is enough to hold on, unless that critical hits. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, just needed. Oh, the Sandstorm. That's right. The Sandstorm gives the rock types that bonus special defense. We were talking about that. I completely forgot, but I am willing to roll another Aura Sphere while the Sudowoodo gets healed, and then we are going to outspeed on the return battle here, unless that just finishes the job, and it absolutely does. Odysseus grabs the arrow from his quiver and launches it right into the tree, and that fells Bertha's team. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, a little bit terrified there if we lost Lucario. Oh man, that would have made this run so much harder in the Elite Four. Thankfully, all 6 are intact. Massive props to the Gengar and the Lucario. The rest of the team is looking good and is ready to go for Flint. But that will do it for this video. So next video, we're going to dive right in and take on the 3rd member of the Elite Four. As always, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And I will catch you on the flip. Peace.